Live button will be started in just a moment, in about 28 seconds. Hi everybody, by the way. I'm just checking over a few things to make sure everything is working. As you can see, we'll start in about 15 seconds. Just want to make sure that we have a good signal and that everything is working properly. Whoa, I let the timer go all the way down to 0 that time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this English lesson where you get a chance to ask me some questions, and I do my best to try and answer them. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging, but usually I get through most of your questions. It's good to see all of you in the chat, a lot of familiar names over there. Thank you so much for being here. I think it will be a good lesson today. I did just realize, though, that I might have forgotten to actually put the link where I'm supposed to put it. So I'm going to keep talking. I might not make a lot of sense while I'm doing that, but I'm going to make sure the link is available. Just give me one moment here while I do that. For some reason, I can't copy and paste it. Give me 1 sec. I thought I was all ready this morning, and now... there we go. We're good, I think. Anyways, let me start again. Welcome to this little English lesson, this little Q&A session where we get to just look at the English language from your perspective. You ask me questions and I think, wow, this is a crazy and confusing language, and I try to explain it. A few things before we start. Please keep the chat in English only. That's for your benefit as well as everyone else's. And please do, if you have a question, use the link that Todd or Dave or Nightbot will share in the chat. That helps me keep all the questions nice and organized, and it helps me go through them one at a time. If you ask questions in the chat, I won't be able to answer them as it goes by too quickly sometimes for me to read. But again, welcome. Let me see if we have our first question. We usually at this point in time do have our first question, so let me see if I can find it. And for sure, let's see here. First question. Let me get it on the screen. First question is from Donnie. How are you doing, Uncle Bob? I'm doing well, Donnie. Thank you. What is the most popular dinner in Canada on the weekends? So a couple corrections in there, Donnie. Did you hear that? What is the most popular dinner in Canada on the weekends? Do you recommend that I eat the famous poutine? Poutine is good. It's not good to eat poutine every day, though. It's a very heavy meal. When we say that a meal is heavy in English, it means that it has a lot of meat and gravy and fat, and it's very rich. So poutine is a good treat once in a while. You should definitely try it, but don't eat it every day. That's just not a good idea. Let's see here. Next question is from Mike. Mike says, hi, Bob. Could you explain the words fade in, fade out, and spin around? Thanks. So when you are... yeah, like if you turn the volume up and down on your radio, the music will fade in and out. So when something fades in, it comes in slowly. We usually use this when we're talking about sound or music, like the music faded in slowly. That would mean that the music went from really quiet to really loud. If you said the music faded out, it would mean that it went from loud to quiet. And then spin around is basically this. Like, I better be careful here. If I do this, you can see me spin around in my chair. If you do that too much, though, you get dizzy. So I'm glad I'm using the chair that spins today. So hopefully that was a good demonstration for you on what spin around means. I'm a little dizzy now. When you're dizzy, it means if you spin around too much, you get dizzy. So there you go. A visual demonstration of what it means. I'm just watching my own replay and laughing at myself. Let me get to the next question. Let me stay on track here. Let's see here. Jefferson Barcelo says, hello, Bob. I figured out your age in an old video, but I won't tell anybody, trust me. So a few corrections there. You would say, but I won't tell anybody, trust me. Haha, have a good day. Well, let's see. I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned my real age, but I like it that you use the phrase figured out. When you figure something out, it means you discover the answer. So it's very cool that you use the phrase figured out. I figured out your age. I'm not sure if you actually know, though. We'll see. I'll reveal my true age right now. I'm actually 29 years old, and everyone thinks I'm in my late 40s, but I'm actually only 29. I'm not 29. Obviously, I am not 29 years old. Let me get to the next question. Next question is from Ruslan. Hello, Teacher Bob. How are you doing, sir? Do Canadian children go sledding down the hill in the winter? You could say in winter, couldn't you? Yes, you could say in winter. I always did when I was a kid. Best wishes, sir. Yes, absolutely. In fact, all of my children have been sledding this past week. They've gone out. Right now, the snow kind of melted, though. But a few days ago, all of my children went sledding, and they really enjoyed it. It was a fun time. Hopefully, we get lots of snow, and we can do more of that this winter. By the way, yesterday's lesson was on the topic of winter. When you are done watching this lesson, if you want to watch what I think was a pretty good lesson, search it up on my channel. You will find it there. Let's see here. Margaretha says, "Hi, Teacher Bob. Please explain when we can use for instead of because and therefore. I see it in textbooks all the time. Thank you. Best wishes from Ukraine." So I don't want to get this wrong because there's a lot of variations, Margaretha, on how you use this. But when you do something for someone, it means that you're doing it to help them out. When you do something because of someone, it means they told you to do it. I'm doing this because my dad told me to do it. So if I say I'm doing this chore for my dad, you're doing it because you want to help your dad. If you say I'm doing it because of my dad, it means your dad told you had to do it. And then therefore, as you can see, it's a very complex thing to answer. So you should really just find a video that separates the two for you, because it would probably take me 5 or 10 minutes to explain all of it. I did just slip in the word therefore. I'm not sure if you realize that, but I did give an example there as well. So because this is this is really complex, therefore I'm going to move on to the next question. There we go. Let's see here. Nawal has the next question. Hello, Mr. Bob. How are you? I would like to ask about these two words, easy and simple. Can we use them interchangeably, or do they have different meanings? So I find that job is really easy. I find that job is really simple. It's really simple to make a video. It's really easy to make a video. They are interchangeable for the most part. I'm trying to figure out in my mind why I would choose one or the other. But I find that doing a live stream is a pretty simple thing to do. I find that doing a live stream is a pretty easy thing to do. They mean pretty much the same thing. Yes, I think you could safely use them interchangeably for sure. Renata has the next question. Hi, Renata. Hello, Bob. Could you please explain the meaning of these two phrasal verbs, narrow down and nail down? Thank you. Have a terrific Saturday. So when you narrow something down, it usually means you're making choices. So if I said, I want something to drink, I can't decide whether I should have tea, coffee, milk, hot chocolate, or water, but I've thought about all 5 and I've narrowed it down to either tea or water. So when you narrow something down, you're making, there's less options in your choices. So hopefully that makes sense. If you were buying a car and you thought, I was thinking red, blue, or yellow, but I've narrowed it down to either red or blue. So you can see how you're narrowing down the choices. Nail down has 2 meanings. The actual meaning is if you take a hammer and you have a piece of wood, you can nail down the piece of wood. You can nail it down so it doesn't go away or blow away. But you can also nail down the answer. Okay, so a little bit of a double meaning there. Let's see here. Next question from Natalia. How could I tell acquaintances that I need to go on urgent matters to the bank, the police, the doctor, and so on if I do not want to mention the place and the business? Well, this is interesting. Sometimes you need to do things and it's kind of private. Not everyone needs to know what you're going to do. So you can just say, I need to run some errands, and you can just leave it at that. If the person asks you more questions, you can just say, oh, it's kind of a private thing, or it's kind of, I don't really want to, how would you, it's delicate. It's not even really an English problem. It's every language, right? When you need to do things and you want to do them privately, it's hard when people are a little bit nosy. when you are nosy, you ask people what they are doing when you maybe don't want to share what you're doing. Dennis Welker says, "Hi Bob, what's the difference between wipe and clean?" So when you wipe something, you have a cloth and you actually wipe it off. This motion, if I had a cloth in my hand, this is me wiping off my hand. When you clean something, it can be all varieties of things. So you can clean it with a brush, you can clean it with a towel, you can clean it with a cloth. So it's more of a general way to talk about making something clean and tidy. Let's see here. Mohammed says, "Hello, Teacher Bob. Can you tell me some vocabulary words that can help me learn English?" So this is a difficult one because obviously there are thousands of words that you need to learn, Mohammed. Again, I usually mention if you are a beginner, learn your colors, your months, your days of the week, how to count, like learn all the basics. After that, try to learn everything that is around you in your house. Once you've done that, try to learn everything, the words for everything that is around you at your place of work. Once you're done that, try to learn all of the words that you would use in a given day, like grocery store, restaurant, those types of things. So hard to say, but start with the words that are very practical to begin with. Let's see here. Johnny from Brazil says, "I was reading and I came across the following expression, loose cannon. In the book, it was referring to a person. Could you explain the true meaning of that? Thanks." When someone's a loose cannon, it means you don't know when they're going to get angry or upset. You might work with someone who, when the job is really stressful, they're kind of a loose cannon. You don't know when they're going to just get angry. You don't know when they're going to say something that's inappropriate. A loose cannon is someone that's hard to trust, for sure. Let's see here. Athanasios has the next question. "Hello, teacher." Hi, Athanasios. "What's good? Which one is correct? I wasn't able earlier. I would say, so I'm trying to read them quietly because what I would say is I wasn't able to do it earlier or I wasn't able to earlier. Okay. Did you take out the garbage? I wasn't able to take it out earlier. I wasn't able to earlier. Okay. That's how, that to me sounds the most correct. Now, the verb to be able, when you're able to do something like I am able, sorry, it's not exactly a verb. It's not super, we don't use that a lot, by the way. We don't say I'm able to do it. Oh, no, we do. If someone says, "Can you take out the garbage?" Yep, I'm able to do it. Yep, I'm able to do it tomorrow. Yep, we would use that. It just sounded a little bit funny. You know how every once in a while, even in your own language, you hear a word and it sounds funny in your mind? Let's see here. Let's see. Layla says, "What does it mean when my fiance starts to neglect me? What should I do?" Sorry, it's not on the topic. So a fiance is someone that you are engaged to be married to. When you exchange engagement rings, then you are planning to have a wedding in the future. If your fiance starts to neglect you, it means your fiance is not paying attention to you or going out with you or spending time with you. Well, I think you need to talk about it. That would be my advice. If you're actually looking for advice, I would say you need to sit down and explain how you're feeling. Hopefully your fiance will understand. Let's see here. Susanta says, "What does create momentum mean?" So we don't actually need the in there. So what does it mean to create momentum? When you have an event coming up, let's say you're planning a concert and you want to create momentum, it means that you're going to advertise the concert. You're going to tell people about the concert. When you create momentum for something, you're trying to get people to be very, very excited about it. So when I plan to do a live lesson, I schedule it so everyone can see that I am doing a live English lesson in the future. I want to create momentum. I want people to be excited about it. So I post the link on Facebook. I post it on YouTube because I want to create momentum. Let's see here. Next question. Mima says, "Hi, teacher. Tell us what's the secret to write a good essay. I hope you're doing a video about this subject." The secret to a good essay is that you don't want it to be too long or too short for the topic. You want to introduce the topic well. You want to carefully talk about the subject or topic for a proper amount of time. You want to demonstrate that you did research, and you want to write a really good conclusion as well. That's hard to answer, but maybe I will do a video at some point about how to write a good essay, because I know sometimes when you take English tests, you have to write a little bit of an essay on the English test. So it's good to know some of the secrets to how to write a good one. Let's see. Yasin has the next question. Hi, Bobby. What does it, by the way, did I explain before that my name is Robert? The short form of my name is Bob. When you're young, people call you Bobby, but some older people still call me Bobby because they think it's kind of funny. So I'm going to assume Yasin is really old. No, I'm just kidding, Yasin. Hi, Bobby. What does it mean when someone says to somebody else, you don't have the heart to do this, or you don't have the guts to do this? So slightly different things. When you don't have the heart to do something, it means that if you do it, it might make you sad. If you do it, it might make you depressed. If you do it, it might make you just not feel very good. Okay, so sometimes, what's a good example? Let's say you were giving a child money every week for them to spend, and at a certain point, you have to tell them you're not giving them money anymore. You might not have the heart to do it because you know they are going to be disappointed. Another good example would be if you have a dog and the dog grows too large for your apartment, and you have to give the dog away. You might not have the heart to do it because it would be sad to have to give the dog away. When you don't have the guts to do something, it means you aren't brave enough to do it. So it's a little bit different in terms of the emotion. Like I don't have the guts to do I don't have the guts to go skydiving. There you go. That means I'm not brave enough. I do not have enough courage to jump out of an airplane with a parachute on. Hopefully that was a good explanation. Let's see here. Rod, the Brazilian English teacher. Hi, Rod. By the way, once again, Rod does have his own YouTube channel where he teaches English. You should check him out. Just search for Rod, the Brazilian English teacher. You'll find him. Mr. Bob, how are you today? My question today is about food. What's your favorite Christmas food? Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. So first of all, Rod used what's a short form for Christmas, where we just put an X. Some people say Xmas, but usually we just say Christmas. My favorite Christmas food, I think, is just all the chocolate, Rod. There is a lot of really yummy chocolate around the Christmas season, and I am a chocolate lover, so I very much enjoy chocolate during the Christmas season. It's lots of fun to eat. Let's see here. Next question. From Marion. Hi, Bob. What can I use of what? Or when can I use of what? Could you please give me an example? Thanks. So if you said to me, I need to borrow a cup of something, I would say a cup of what? And you would say a cup of sugar. If you said that, let's see, you needed to... Yeah, that's the closest of example I can come up with. Maybe one of the people in the chat can think of another example, but sometimes, yeah, like if Jen said, can you get me a few things from the store? And if I said, what do you need? And she said, oh, a couple of things of what? Like if, sorry, I'm messing this one up. Let's go back to the sugar example. If you said, I need a few cups, I need a few cups more to make this cake, I would say cups of what? Sorry, I don't think I explained that well, but I'm sorry that sometimes the explanations just don't come to me. Let me just check my audio for a sec. Yeah, everything seems to be working good. By the way, just a few things before I continue. Thank you for being here, all 404 of you. It's lots of fun for me on a Saturday morning to do a little English lesson. If you don't know who I am, I'm Bob the Canadian. I do little English lessons here on YouTube, a new video every Tuesday. If you're interested, you should subscribe and you'll get notified whenever I put out a new video. It's kind of nice to be notified and then you can watch it and see if you enjoy it or not. But let's continue. Let's see here. Next question. So Dalim says, what is the difference between talk to and speak to? So they mean sometimes the same thing, okay? So let's say a student didn't hand in an assignment. I would need to speak to that student. I would need to talk to that student, okay? So I would plan to find that student and I would talk to them because they didn't hand in the assignment. I would find that student and I would speak to them because they didn't hand in that assignment. So when you talk to someone or when you speak to someone, it can mean exactly the same thing. You really just need to listen to how native speakers use each of them, because there can be slight variations in it. But in the examples I gave, you can definitely use them interchangeably. Yasin has the next question. Hi, Bob. Watching movies or watching cartoons? Which one is better for learners? It depends, Yasin, on your level. I often recommend that beginners watch cartoons. Even if you're 40 years old, watching a few episodes of Peppa Pig, that's a great thing to watch, by the way, is a good way to learn and practice English. Movies. So here's the other theory I have. I think it's better to watch TV shows than movies, because when you watch a TV show, you can watch 8 or 10 episodes, and it can really help your ear learn how to understand the English speakers in the TV show. When you watch a movie, it's like an hour and a half and it's over. It's not that easy to train your ear to understand the people talking. Movies are great. I'm not saying don't watch movies, but certainly TV shows and cartoons have that repeatability aspect is really good. Let's see here. Let me just check something for a sec. I have a small error on my screen. Okay, let me get back to the lesson here. Irina has the next question. Hi, Teacher Bob. Please explain how to use the word wantonly. Is it necessarily negative? Thank you. So yes, like if someone was to like drive their car on your property and knock stuff over with their car, we would say that they are just wantonly destroying your property. So it means without care, without thought. When you do something wantonly, it means that you are usually destructive, and usually you're destroying things. It does also, I'm not going to explain this, it does also have another meaning, which is a little more sexual, but you'll need to look that one up yourself. Daniel has the next question. Let's see. Next question is, dear teacher, what is the difference between using the words either, to, as well, and also? So the best I can do is give some example sentences for these, because it is a little bit tricky to know which one to use. Like you don't know whether you should be using to or as well or also. So let's do those three first. I do a live stream on Friday. I do a live stream on Saturdays too. I do a live English lesson on Friday. I do a live English lesson on Saturdays as well. I do a live English lesson on Fridays. I do a live English lesson on Saturday also. So in those three sentences, they are very much the same, okay? Either is a little bit different, and you'll want to look that one up because it has a number of different usages. And then I think, yeah, after you watch it, either you'll understand it better or you won't. So I just gave an example sentence there. Hopefully you noticed that. So watch a video about how to use either, and after you watch it, either you'll understand it or you won't. So hopefully that helped. Thanks, Daniel, for the question. Let me get to the next one. So Lily from Vietnam, how do you celebrate the holidays on Christmas and New Year's in your country, and how long does the holiday take? So from work, I have 2 weeks off during the Christmas season. Usually we celebrate Christmas by giving gifts and having a meal with family. Usually we celebrate New Year's Eve by going to a family member's house and having a party where we all stay up late and then celebrate the new year. But this year, we won't be doing any of that. I think you guys know why, because we all need to stay home and we need to stay safe. So generally, Lily, just think about lots of parties and lots of food. That's how Christmas is celebrated. Let's see. Yeah, Alex, this is a tricky one. Hey, Prof. Bob, how can I know when someone really can be my best friend? Who I thought was my best friend. He's so cool, but he forgot about me, and now I don't know. Yeah, this is bigger than an English question, isn't it? It's hard to know. First of all, let's talk about the phrase best friend. You in life will have some friends, but there might be one particular person who is your best friend. That is the one person that you do a lot with. Sometimes you will have a best friend for life. My best friend is someone that I met when I was 6 years old, and we are still friends today. He is my best friend. In fact, I was his best man at his wedding, and he was my best man at my wedding. So a best friend is someone that you just know really well. How can you know someone really is your best friend? I don't know. That's a tricky one. It's hard to know when someone is genuine and kind and caring. And I just feel bad. It is hard to find a good best friend in life. Fernan has the next question. Fernan has, what is the difference between I'm gone and I have gone? So if I say I'm gone, let's see. That's a funny one because we don't, let's see, I'm gone. Well, I'm gone. Well, I'm out of here. It's kind of almost slangy to say I'm gone. But if you're asking about which one is correct, if I say I have gone to British Columbia, I have gone to the United States, I have gone to Quebec, I'm talking about places I have been to in the past. But I think just the phrase I'm gone would be more like if I'm here and I'm like, well, I got to get going, I'm gone. It's kind of a slang way of saying that you are leaving or you need to leave. Let's see here. Eduardo has the next question. Hi, Eduardo. Hi, Bob. Good morning. Please, would you pronounce called, cold, and behind? The last word I hear you pronounce two ways. Thanks so much. Okay, so first of all, I have to thank Elias for the super chat. Thank you, Elias, so much for just dropping a little bit of your British or your Brazilian real to thank me for what I do. You're awesome. And by the way, Elias, you are making awesome progress watching all of my lessons. Good work. Back to Eduardo's question, though. Eduardo says, hi, Bob. Good morning. Pronounce called, cold, and behind. So the other day I called my mom. So I picked up the phone, I dialed the phone, and I called my mom. So I called my mom and we talked about all kinds of things. Yesterday I was outside and I was cold. Okay. So I called my mom, but then later I was outside and I was cold. It was really cold outside. And then behind, I'm getting behind. He was behind. She's behind. So behind means that, like, if two people are running and one person is further ahead, the person who is back here is behind. I don't think I say it two different ways. I'm trying to listen while I say it. But definitely when I'm answering questions, sometimes I get behind. Sometimes I can keep up, but sometimes I get behind. So I don't think I say it more than one way, but maybe behind. Yeah, hard to say. Let's see here. Next question from Martin from Poland. Martin says, hello, you handsome bear. Let's see here. I got to fix this. Let me read it. How can your students even focus during your lessons at school? Oh, I'm not sure. I think the lessons are interesting. Now to the question. What is the difference between keep and preserve? Regards. So we keep a lot of food in our kitchen cupboards. We keep a lot of food in our fridge, but sometimes we will preserve food. That means, let's say you buy strawberries and you turn the strawberries into jam. We would say that you are preserving the food, okay? So keep is like a general word for keeping food and other things as well. But preserve is generally when you do something to something so it lasts a long time. When you make jam, you are preserving. We actually call them preserves sometimes. And you can preserve old things as well. You can preserve a car, which would mean you take an old car and you make sure that it doesn't rust or start to fall apart. Aldrin has the next question. Are these words homophones? Flower and flower, dad and dead. I can never thank you enough, Teacher Bob. Well, let's look at these. First of all, flour and flour are pronounced the same way, okay? When you bake bread, you need flour. You'll have a recipe. A recipe is what tells you what to put in to the food you are making. And you will need flour, okay? Flour. Jen sometimes will grow new kinds of flowers. We have a flower farm where we grow flowers. So they are pronounced the same way. Dad and dead, though, are different, okay? So I'm a dad. I'm not dead. Sorry, that was kind of a, yes, I am a dad. And when something is no longer alive, it is dead. So hopefully you can hear the difference between those two. The dad is a very long A sound, and then dead is a short E sound, dead. Let's see here. Erica says, Hi, Bob. What's the meaning of it's a wrap and how it's used? I've noticed this in endings. Thanks for amazing classes. I had been learning and improving a lot my English. That's awesome, Erica, that you are improving. When you say that's a wrap or it's a wrap, it's something you say at the end of something. When I'm done this English lesson, I could say, well, that's a wrap. Or I could say, okay, everybody, it's a wrap. And then the team of people that helps me, there is no team. It's just Todd and Dave. There's no one else in the room right now. Just me and my camera and my lights. But when you're done something where you're working on it with other people, you could say it's a wrap or that's a wrap. Sometimes at the end of my classes, I'll say to my students, well, it's class is over. That's a wrap. Make sure you finish page 117 for homework tonight or something like that. Let's see here. I think this question got cut off, Sugar Daddy. Morning, Mr. Bob. So I'd like to know which one of these questions is grammatically correct. And then it's just blank. So I guess I don't know which questions you're asking. So sorry, I'll move on to the next question. Sally, how long is the winter day in your town? Oh, I should have talked about this yesterday in my lesson about winter. In the winter, the days become very, very short. It actually isn't light out in the morning till about 7 or 7:30 or close to 8 o'clock. And it is dark right now at 5 p.m. Actually, at 4:45, it's dark. As we get closer to December 21st, which is the shortest day of the year for us, it will be dark till 8 in the morning and it will be dark again probably by 4:30 at night. So great question. I wish in my lesson yesterday about winter, I had talked about that, the shortening of the days. Hey, just a quick pause to say there's a subscribe button there and there's a little bell you can click too, I think. If you are one of the 495 people watching and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. It's free. And basically you get a little notification whenever I make a new English lesson. So if you want, click that subscribe button there. I think there's one right there too. There's also a join button, but that's if you really want to support me, but you can explore that as well. Let's get back to the lesson. But before I do, let me make a small change here. As I mentioned the join button, I should also say thank you to all of you who are members. When you are a member, your name appears in green in the chat. You get a small crown. And for about 10 minutes during my live lessons, we have members only chat. So if you are a member right now, you can ask questions. I'm pointing to the chat because it's over there, but it might be down there. If you are a member, first of all, thank you. And secondly, you may ask questions in the chat right now, and I will answer as many as I can. Let's see here. Annette Monzi, sometimes I wonder if your speed to speak in your videos is already a second nature or is it difficult? So it's kind of both, Annette. So I have been teaching in a classroom for a very long time. So I think naturally when I'm teaching students, I already speak a little more slowly than normal because I want them to understand. I think that when I'm on a video or a live stream, I think it's second nature now. But you will hear every once in a while I start to speed up and I speak way too quickly and no one can understand me because sometimes I get excited for the thing I'm talking about. Yesterday in the lesson about winter, there were a few times. And you know my short videos on my second YouTube channel, I try to talk my normal speed for the last minute or two, and sometimes I still end up speaking a little more slowly. Brent is talking to Madi. Madi says, I will ask him now. Ooh, there's going to be a question from Madi. Panthera says, dear teacher, if someone says it grinds my gears, that means the thing is pretty annoying. Yes, and it's always gears with an S. It grinds my gears. Yes, sometimes people do things and it grinds my gears. That means it makes me annoyed. Sam the Taiwanese. Hi, teacher. Bob, a personal question. What do you treasure the most in your life so far? Sorry for the question because I'm getting sentimental during the winter. I just treasure Jen and my kids. I think family has become super important to me. It is probably the one thing in life that is just always joyful for the most part. Sometimes there's fights, but I would say Jen and the kids for sure. Because if I think about what could I live without, I don't need to live on a farm. I don't need to have I don't need to, I need to have Jen and the kids around. That's what I need the most in life. Let's see here. And you're getting sentimental during the winter. That happens quite often. People are inside a lot during the winter. Let's see here. Hi, Bob. What does sugar daddy mean? So, Madi, you're going to have to look that one up. I'll give you the short answer. Sometimes people in life find a partner. And if one of those partners is older and has more money, you might use that term for them. That's the description I will give you. Is it bad? I don't know if it's bad. It's just kind of a weird phrase, I think. Let's see here. Elias, hey Bob, I'm watching your video on 10 things I don't know about you. I'm trying to speak at the same time and with the same pronunciation. Could you pronounce the word sentences? Yes, so many sentences. There are a lot of sentences. By the way, Elias, I'm making a second version of that video for this Tuesday. I'm going to talk about 10 more things you don't know about me, but I'm also going to talk about the opposites of each one. And then I'll do it again so that you can listen to me talk about myself so you can learn to talk about yourself. So that'll be ready for Tuesday. Alex says, have you already decorated your house for Christmas? I'd like to see your tree. Yes, the tree is up. I can't show you right now. It's kind of messy over there. So I do want to thank Daniel Xavier for leaving a super chat. Thank you so much. That is awesome of you. And I do know that Robert Papp also joined and became a member just now. That is awesome. I did forget something though. Let me do something here. I was going to do that. There we go. So again, Daniel Xavier, thank you so much for the super chat. And Robert, thank you so much for becoming a member. That is awesome of you. Let me see. Next question. Let's see. Have you already? Thanks a lot, Bob, from Annette. Thanks, Daniel. Alina says, Teacher Bob, what does the phrase paint the town red mean exactly? It means to go out and have a lot of fun. I haven't heard the phrase in a while. Let me make sure I paint the town red. I'm going to look it up to make sure I'm right. To go out and enjoy yourself to the extreme. So generally when you paint the town red, it means you go out and you have a lot of fun with friends while going to different places in that town. I haven't heard that phrase for a while though. Daria, dear Bob, no question today, but I took the IELTS exam and the speaking test was so devastating. I got a question about a movie that made you laugh. For some reason, I recalled one of your streams. Well, I'm sorry to hear that the speaking portion was devastating. I just want to encourage you to practice a lot. Hopefully that if you do the test again in the future, it goes well. But it's interesting that you had a question about a movie that I talked about. So hopefully that helped a little bit. Good to hear, Daria. When you dog jumped on your table, it was so funny. Thank you for the job that you do. You are incredibly talented. Yeah, there was a live stream where Oscar jumped on the table. That was a funny one. He didn't seem to care about my equipment. Zeev, hello, Professor Bob. How's the weather now outside? Is it snowing? Here in Jerusalem, it was a rainy day. So a little bit of snow. I went for a walk earlier this morning. It's 2 degrees Celsius, but there's a little bit of snow coming down. Sometimes we don't need it to be below 0 for it to snow because it's colder up in the air. Let's see. Brent saying I did a great job explaining. Yes, if you could explain that more later, Brett, that would be great as well. Tori Moni, thank you so much for joining the channel. That's awesome of you. Thank you for becoming a member. And Giovanni, thank you for the sticker, the super sticker. That is awesome of you. Let's see here. Let's see. Panthera Nori, American English with this guy. And what is going to be with your family-friendly channel? So that's the challenging thing on YouTube. I try to keep all of my content classroom friendly so that teachers can use it and family friendly. So there are a lot of things about the English language that I don't teach about. So I don't teach you how to swear or recognize swear words. And there's certain subjects I avoid. I know many of you would be interested in some of those subjects, but you'll have to find another place to learn about them. Let's see. Junie Arto, hello, Sir Bob. Would you like to tell me about basic competence of subjects at your school? Thanks for sharing. So when we talk about basic competence, when students are a certain age, they need to be able to read and write. They need a certain level of ability in mathematics or math. They need to have a general knowledge of history, geography, and science. So when we talk about basic competences, we usually are talking about reading, writing, math, science, geography, history, kind of what we call almost the core subjects in the school. And they do get tested every few years, our students. Let's see here. Alina says, thanks, Teacher Bob. So I reminded you of this phrase. Maybe you'll use it one day. Who knows? Yes, I might use it. I actually have a piece of paper here. I'm going to write it down later when I am done. Elias, thanks, Bob. Definitely I'll watch the second version. Awesome. That's cool of you. Let me get to the next question from the list. From How. Hi, Bob. Does the phrase doze off mean have a light sleep? Are there any phrases we use to talk about sleeping? So in a video the other day, I talked about how you can nod off. So you can say, oh, I was sitting on the couch and then I nodded off. Or I tend to nod off if I sit in a dark room. You could also say doze off. So it doesn't mean a light nap. It refers to going from being awake to being asleep. Like, oh, sometimes if I show a movie in my classroom and I turn all the lights off, I'm always afraid that I'm going to doze off. That because it's dark, I might fall asleep while I'm showing the movie. So doze off, nod off, and fall asleep all mean the same thing. How? Let's see here. Panthera, dear teacher, if you say you are engaged to teaching, that means you do it not just for the money, but it means a lot to you. So little bit of a different explanation here. You can be engaged to a person. That means you are going to marry them. You can be engaged in teaching something, or you can be really engaged in your lesson. And that means that it's very, very interesting and you like doing it. So the second one, I would say you're engaged with. Like, I'm really engaged with teaching. I'm engaged. I was engaged to Jen, but I'm really engaged with teaching. So slight different prepositions there. Rod says, hi, Bob. I have a sweet tooth too. My first New Year's resolution is to start a diet, and that is forgotten on January 2nd. There is too much chocolate in the world between Christmas, like from Christmas Day till New Year's Day. There's too much chocolate in the world. That's my belief, Rod. I think I'll do the same as you. I'll plan to not eat chocolate or too much chocolate after January 1st. Hopefully I last past January 2nd. Alina, back to the sleep topic. To sleep like a log describes me perfectly when I'm done working. Yes, when you sleep like a log, you are sound asleep. You are out. You are completely under. So I used a few different versions there. When you sleep like a log, you are in a deep sleep. And then let's see. Let me get to the next question. Okay, so sorry I had to read this one just a little bit. This is from Jehun from Korea. Hello, Teacher Bob. Always grateful for your lessons. Here's my question. How can I decide what to use after the verb? Should I just learn a lot of phrasal verbs? So there's two things happening here. You know, I shop at the store. I shop at the mall. I climb up in the tree. And you're kind of asking what preposition to use afterwards. But at the same time, we have a lot of phrasal verbs that have a preposition, or it's a phrasal verb. It's a verb phrase that has the preposition built in. So you should do both. You should watch some videos on how to use in, at, on, by, so you can start to separate when to use those. Because sometimes, I think a fly just landed on my head. On my head. A fly landed on. See, I decided not in my head. That'd be weird. Not by my head. It landed on my head. So you should do both. I think I have a video on in, at, by, on. If you do a search for Bob the Canadian, in, at, by, on, you'll find it. But there are many other YouTubers who have done videos like that as well. And definitely learn phrasal verbs for sure. Let's see here. This is from Bear Vilson. Hi, Bear Vilson. By the way, Bear Vilson's been around for a long time. So he is a longtime viewer of the channel. I think I forgot to turn members only chat off. Let me do that for a moment here so that everyone can chat again. And let me just double check. Elias is trying to watch all the videos. Yes, Elias is working his way through all my videos. It's awesome to see. And he leaves a comment when he's done. I do read them, Elias. Sorry, I don't always respond. Let's see here. Panthera. If something is vetted, it means the same as it's checked. Yes. So before someone can be like the mayor of the town. He needs to be vetted. They need to check into whether he is appropriate for that job. Let's see here. Diego, hi Bob. How are you doing? As a Canadian, what is better for you? Someone that speaks fast without errors or someone that speaks slowly without errors? I just like it when people speak. If you're talking about people who are learning English, I don't care if people make mistakes. It is just better to speak. The mistakes will slowly go away with time. The worst thing you can do as a language learner is to only speak if you can speak perfectly. I speak English as a native and I make mistakes when I talk. So just speak as much as you can. It's just the best way to do it. One sec here. I have to check something else. Okay, we're good. Oh, Internet Shop. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. That is awesome of you. Thank you for doing that. Sleep like a baby, says Brent from American English. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to return to Bear Wilson's question. In your video about crazy things, you didn't consider the mountain bike. I have already broken 3 helmets and I would say they saved my life. What do you think about that? Mountain biking is pretty cool. I have a nephew who's really into mountain biking, and it is a little bit dangerous. So I should have put that in my lesson about crazy things that people do for sure. I think people would have found that interesting. Mountain biking is certainly more dangerous than normal biking. And there's a form of mountain biking where people they go downhill biking. So they go to ski slopes in the summer when there's no snow, and then they ride their mountain bike down the hill. So that's crazy. Fernando, hello, Teacher Bob. When can I use shall and should? I love all your videos. Greetings from Mexico. So if I say to my students, you should not drink or eat during class, that sounds pretty normal. If I say you shall not eat or drink during class, I sound really old. We don't use the word shall very often anymore. It's from an older version of English. Like I wouldn't say, oh, my throat's getting dry. I shall drink some water now. I would say I'm going to drink some water now. Or yes, definitely. I should drink. I'm going to drink a little more water actually. So you will see shall in books like, what comes to mind is The Lord of the Rings. When Gandalf says, does he say thou shalt not pass? Or you shall not pass? I don't know. I don't know the exact phrase. I don't know my Lord of the Rings quotes very well. I thought I did. Let's see here. Abdullah, how many words do you need to know in order to be able to speak English comfortably? So they say that to be able to read the news, you need to know between 3,000 and 5,000 words. They also say that once you get past 5,000 words that you know well, it's a lot easier to have conversations. Now notice there is a difference between reading and understanding with a certain number of vocabulary and speaking. Speaking is a little more challenging. Just because you have memorized 5,000 words doesn't mean you will instantly be able to speak English fluently. But certainly if you have learned 5,000 or 6,000 words and you have done a lot of reading and you are practicing your speaking, it will be a lot more comfortable for you for sure. So Andrew Lynn says, I still hear people say, hey, let's do this, shall we? Yeah, we do say that. I guess I would say that's actually somewhat common. Shall we go? Shall we eat? Yes, that was great, Andrew Lynn. That's a great example. So we do use the word shall a little bit. Later today, Jen and I are going to go out. We have to buy some feed for our animals. And when we're ready to go, Jen might say, okay, I'm ready. Shall we go? We might say should more often though, but definitely Andrew Lynn, we would say that. Next question. Amanj says, hi teacher, how are you doing? Can you explain this idiom? At a moment's notice. I have to put an S on there, okay? At a moment's notice. So when you're ready to go somewhere at a moment's notice, it means you don't have to do anything to prepare to go, okay? So if I have my coat, my hat, and my shoes on, I could say to Jen, I'm ready to go at a moment's notice. So basically it means you're really ready to do something. You have prepared to do it. I could say to my students, you need to be ready to write a quiz at a moment's notice. That means basically you need to be ready all the time to be ready to write a quiz. I'm just going to look it up for a sec to make sure I have it exact. There might be other. Yeah, so you're prepared to help us at a moment's notice. You need to be ready to go at a moment's notice. So there you go. Let me get to the next question here. Roberto says, hi, Bob. In Spain, many classrooms have the windows open due to COVID students bringing blankets. How is it in Canada? Thanks. We in Canada have tried to keep our classrooms as open and as well ventilated as possible. I often have my windows and my door of my classroom open, even though it is winter now. We want to make sure there's a lot of fresh air and a lot of good air exchange in our classroom. So yes, we definitely have the windows open a lot. Francis has the next question. So you would say, good day, Bob. Okay, good day, Bob. My question is, are these similar, the same and the same thing? So yeah, so the same thing is very specific, right? Like my brother likes to play video games and I like the same thing. My son likes to play video games and I like the same thing. You could say my brother likes to play video games and I am the same. Or my son likes to play video games and I'm the same. I like video games as well. So it's a little bit of a different usage, but the same meaning. So hopefully you can listen to those example sentences again in the future. Let's see here. I'm going to skip the next question. It's a little confusing for me, so sorry about that. So this is from Ario. Hola, Mr. Bob. I've been watching the lesson about snow on your channel. The war of snowballs is super fun. So sometimes people make snowballs and they have a snowball fight. It's a lot of fun. Merry Christmas. Oh, yes. Do you love the country of France? Yes. I think France is cool. I would love to visit there someday. And thanks, Ario, for mentioning that video. I did a lesson yesterday about winter, but there are actually 2 other videos on my channel about snow where I made an English lesson outside in the snow in the winter. If you're curious, you can go and find those later. Just search for Bob the Canadian Snow on YouTube and you'll find one or both of those videos. They were a lot of fun to make. But yesterday's lesson I did inside. I didn't do that one outside. Let's see here. Fidan has the next question. Hi, Mr. Bob. What's up? Not much. What do you think about learning another language in language school? Or speaking with language speakers is better? Okay, we don't say more better, is better. Both way needs money. What's better? Language school, to me, if you can afford to go to language school or to take night classes, I think it's very, very helpful. But I also think having an English tutor or someone who meets with you regularly once a week is good as well. To me, the best thing to do is to go to a website like Preply. There's a link below. And just to find someone who gives English lessons online, similar to how you would learn to play a musical instrument. So don't just find a conversation partner, find an English teacher that gives English lessons online. Rod's a good example. That's one of the things, that's what Rod does, Rod, the Brazilian English teacher. So it's not just someone who you're going to have a conversation with once a week. It's someone that will teach you English along the way. So to me, that's the best, is find a person that gives personal English lessons online. That would be my vote. English schools are great though. I mean, if you can go and take an English class, that's wonderful. Do that for sure. Let's see here. Ibrahim says, hi, Mr. Bob. I hope you're well. I have a lot of problems with the pronunciation of these words. World, war, word, work. Could you help me, please? So we live in the world. It's a beautiful world. Soon, someday, we'll all be allowed to go outside again and everyone will enjoy the world a lot more. I think war is a bad thing. When 2 countries go to war, it means they're fighting with each other. War is a horrible thing. I wish we could avoid all wars. You'll notice that I'm using a lot of words. So the word that I like the best in the English language, I think I've said Shenandoah a few times, the Shenandoah Valley. Beautiful, beautiful sounding word for sure. And then I have a job. I go to work every day. I like to work. I actually am a pretty hardworking person, I think. So I like to work. Hopefully, Ibrahim, that helped you a bit. A few example sentences. By the way, for all of you, if there's parts of my lesson that you don't understand while you're watching it, you should just come back tomorrow and watch it again. I leave all the live streams up forever. You don't have to watch the whole hour, but if there's a little segment where I explained something or I gave example sentences that you can say out loud, just come back tomorrow and find that part of the video and kind of listen and watch it one more time and say those words and phrases out loud. So when I pronounce words like world, war, word, and work, it's a good idea to watch this video tomorrow. Come to this portion. We're at about 55 minutes in and practice those again. It's a great way to practice your English. By the way, I do want to say hi to the 512 people watching. If you're new here and you're not a subscriber, you should click this subscribe button and the little bell, and you'll get notified when I make a new English lesson. Let's see here. So Nga says, when can I use slang? I mean, in what situation is it suitable to use slang? So I've kind of fixed your question a little bit, Nga. So you use slang with people you know well, with friends and family. Now, there are slang words that are considered bad words, but the vast majority of slang in English you would use with friends and family. You might even use it at work if you just work with people you know well, who you talk to all the time. So I don't use a lot of slang at work because I'm a teacher, but when I work with my brother on a project or I'm talking to my brother, I will use a lot more slang. So I would say learn your slang and then listen for it. If you hear other people using slang at work, it's probably safe for you to do it as well. Let's see here. Brahim says, hi, Teacher Bob. How are you? I'd like to thank you. I learned a lot from you. My English is now better. I speak to natives on the Hello app and they understand me. Amazing. No, that is amazing. Congratulations, Brahim. That is really cool to hear that. I'm sure you've done a lot more than just watched my videos, but thank you for the compliment. I'm glad that I was able to help you, Brahim, and I'm glad to hear that you're having conversations and people can understand you. So good work. Awesome stuff. That's cool. I'm very happy for you. Can you tell? That's awesome. Sometimes I don't realize that I am actually helping people because I do this kind of for fun. And so anyways, I'm happy, Brahim, that I could help you. Let's see here. JC. Hi, Sir Bob. First of all, thanks for all the videos and lessons about English. I'm from the Philippines. I ask, how does the word though get used? Are there rules with it? Thank you. So I did fix your question a bit there. So even though your question was good, there were a few mistakes. So I know that. I'm just sorry. I'm trying to listen to myself talk. So I used even though. That's one way that we use the word though. I said, even though your question was good, there were a few little mistakes. So I can't really answer this, JC, in extreme detail. I probably could make a whole video on how to use the word though. And even though I would love to do that, I don't really make that type of video. Maybe I should put it on the list though. I should make a video on how to use though and even though. Maybe I'll do that, but I can't explain it in less than a minute. So I am going to move on. Although if you do rewind, you'll hear me use the word though a few times as I was explaining that. Let's see here. Miriam says, hello, sir. How can I improve my grammar? So there's a few things that happen with grammar. I think it's important to learn some verb conjugations. Okay. I think it's important to learn to talk about the future, the present, and the past. You need to be able to have conversations where you can describe things you're going to do, things you have done, and the things you are doing right now. Beyond that, I think you can pick up a lot of grammar from listening and reading, especially if you're, again, trying to learn how to use prepositions like in and at and by and on. Sometimes a grammar lesson on how to use those prepositions isn't super helpful, but sometimes just hearing someone use sentences with those words can be quite helpful. Let me see here. Sorry, I think it's a very broad question, but this is from Miguel. How can I speak fluently? So I often equate speaking English and having English conversations to being a lot like a sport. If you practice volleyball you can play volleyball a lot better. If you practice running, you can run better in a race. If you practice your English a lot, you will get better at speaking. So I know it sounds funny to say, well, the best way to speak fluently is to speak a lot, but there is a lot of truth to that. The more English conversations you have, the better you will get at having English conversations. The best way to do it is to find one person who you trust, who maybe you have to pay, who you meet with once a week for 30 minutes or an hour to have an English conversation. That is just the best way to improve your speaking and to speak fluently. Let's see here. Next question. Sorry, I'm skipping some questions because they're a little challenging. So last question, and then we're going to wrap this up, folks. Ibrahim says, hi, Bob. I was wondering if there are books you recommend for learning English. I'm learning English by watching YouTube and chatting with native English speakers. So I recommend you find books that are at your level. So if you are already having conversation with native English speakers, you can probably read at a fairly high level. So I would look for books that you've already read in your own language that are also available in English. That's the first thing I would do. Then if you like a certain type of book or novel, start to read those in English. So if you like science fiction, start to read science fiction novels in English. So I don't have specific books, Ibrahim, but that's the method I would use to figure out what to read next, okay? So again, if you are a beginner reader though, just start reading comics and start reading kids' books. Read them out loud as well to practice your speaking while you do it. Let me just check one thing. I think we're done. Sorry, there are many, many questions left, but I do not have time to answer them all. No, I will not have time. Sorry, folks. I'm going to wrap this up. A few things before I go. One, if you're one of the 538 people watching and you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button. If you want to support me even further, click the join button below and read a little bit. You'll get a name, your name in green, a crown, an extra video. I don't want to talk about it too much. If you are serious about learning your English and there were parts of this lesson that you didn't quite understand, do come back tomorrow and rewatch it. There's usually automatic subtitles as well. So you can turn on the subtitles tomorrow, rewatch 10 minutes of the video, and maybe that will help you understand what I was explaining. Anyways, Bob the Canadian here. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank Todd and Dave for being here and moderating the chat. I want to thank all my members like Tori and Panthera Nori and Madi. I see a few names on the screen. Brent from American English, Diego, Norma is here. I'm going to miss people. You should never start thanking people by name because then you forget people sometimes. But anyways, thanks to Rod from Rod, the Brazilian English teacher, for being in the chat. Thanks to Brent from American English with this guy for being in the chat. You guys are both awesome. And I think I'm going to go. It's Saturday. It's time to relax. I'm going to relax by running errands all afternoon. That's not really relaxing, is it? But it's got to be done. Somebody's got to do it. It will be me. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your weekend. And I will see you Tuesday with another